I did see today, I was reading the rumor mill about this, about the hometown Toronto Blue Jays, being intrigued, I guess is what they were maybe calling it. Um,
Sure.
It obviously makes sense. Do you foresee a situation where, you're right. I'm looking at the roster and the playing time situation. It probably would be hard for him to go somewhere and get 130, 40 plus games every day.
Yeah. I just don't know where that is, especially at a place, a non-premium defensive position at first base. First base and DHing. There's a lot of guys who fit that profile, and many of them are much younger and much cheaper. And so that is the big question.
Last time you were on, you mentioned that Joey liked the idea of being like a player in one uniform for his entire career. And I think most athletes probably, if you ask them, like that idea too, the Cal Ripken Jr., I came in as a Oriole, I'll retire as an Oriole, that kind of thing. How much of an adjustment do you think that'll be for him if he doesn't end up going back to the Reds and he does go to the Blue Jays or some other team? Like, it is kind of weird seeing like players, especially like him, like just in a different uniform.
Right, the Mike Piazza Marlins uniform pictures. Even though Mike Piazza kind of is iconic in two different franchises, so probably not the best example. But there are those guys like Will Clark is a Cardinal. Larry Walker is a Cardinal. Those are weird ones to me. Even though again, those are guys probably who weren't. I'm trying to think of a better example of somebody who was at one place their whole career. Willie Mays. You don't think of him as a Met, but that doesn't change the greatness of Willie Mays. And no matter what kind of how it looks, it's not gonna lessen Joey Votto as the baseball player and what he has accomplished. So it will be really weird to see him in a different uniform if that does happen. Although I think there is something about it being, if it were Toronto, it would be just kind of interesting just because, that is, I had I think it was 2 years ago, the Reds were in Toronto and I was there and I went to Joey's childhood home and wrote about that scene and talked to him about it. And he had actually met me there, and then we rode from his childhood home. He gave me the ride downtown to my hotel, which was right next to the stadium. And him just recounting going from where he grew up to just what a special thing it was to him as a kid to go to a Blue Jays game at Rogers Center, Sky Dome. And you could feel what it meant to him to just take that drive and all the places along the way. So, while I think it would be cool if he were a Cincinnati Red forever, there would be something cool about him in Toronto. But it's different in Toronto than maybe so many other places. Just because, especially now, the Blue Jays are not just Toronto's team, they're Canada's team. And Joey Votto is arguably, he and Larry Walker are arguably the greatest Canadian baseball players of all time. Ferguson Jenkins you throw on there as well. But those guys, it would be really interesting just to see him play there, especially Larry Walker started his career in Montreal. And so he got that chance to be that Canadian icon, but it's even more so because Joey did grow up in the Toronto area.
That's such a great point. Yeah, and we've seen him on TV in the Canadian Mountie uniform, so it's like he's already kind of maybe a quarter of the way there.